Hey, it's Joel, the 3D printing nerd, and before I start, I want to show you something. Look, part of my desk is clean! Yay! Alright, now let's start. Look at this. This is a box, and in this box is supposedly the 3dsimo. David from 3dsimo got a hold of me and said, Joel, you gotta try this 3dsimo. It's fantastic. And I know my buddy Devin over at Make Anything, he has one, and he's created fantastical things with it. So let's get it out of the box, and then let's try something awesome with it. Everything just wants to come out. This is the 3dsimo Mini. It is supposedly able to cut foam, draw as a 3D pen. It's supposed to be able to solder and burninating. That's kind of fun. Let's put that right here. So in this box is it looks like some wood cutouts maybe for burning or something. I don't know. Here's some lots of ABS and lots of PLA filaments. Just a whole bunch of them. Just that came with it. That's pretty awesome. This is the 3dsimo Power Pack. My guess is it provides power. This says 3dsimo, and it looks like it's made out of wood, and I would imagine it's some sort of docking station, or perhaps a way for it to communicate with other 3dsimos. We won't know for sure. Finally, this looks cool. This is Let Your Imagination Run Wild, and it's a book of projects, printed templates for all 40 projects. That's amazing. Devin over at Make Anything, he just put out a video and he detailed some stuff on the 3dsimo, and he said some of his projects are in this book. Awesome. Before we go any further, let's take a look at this box. On the back it does say foam cutting, 3D drawing, soldering, and burning. Material options for 3D drawing, ABS, PLA, HIPS, PET-C, wood, flex, and metal. Oh, and there's a multi-platform app on mobile devices. I should open this up. Look at the layout. That's incredibly sexy. Well done on the layout. So we've got the 3dsimo Mini itself. Ooh. It feels good in the hand. I think this is probably the foam cutter or burner, maybe? It says all the tips are included. This is probably the soldering tip. This looks to be some sort of cleanup tip, or maybe it's the burning tip. Now I don't know. Of course, the tip that's included right there is the 3D pen tip. Now, when we graduate to level 2 and we move one layer deeper, we have the multi-country charger. Of course, you've got the European standard, and then you've got the US standard. You have a USB cord. It is micro USB on that end, just so you know. Here's some extra, looks like some solder, extra tips. There's a flat blade as well. Here is the manual right here. And then beyond that are even more samples of filament. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and charge this up, and I'm going to try to use it with a very specific application, and then we'll come back when I'm done, or the next day, depending on it, and we'll talk about it. All right, see you in a sec. To turn on the 3dsimo, all I had to do was connect the USB cord to the little charger thing that I plugged into the outlet. Loading the 3dsimo pen tool with filament was also fairly easy. I just had to take it out of this little baggie, and then I fed it in the back end until it hit a stopping point, and then I held on the button, which started advancing the filament through the nozzle and then out the nozzle. My first test was trying to lay down filament on a paper towel, and it worked gloriously. Once the paper towel proved successful, I applied some glue stick to an egg for the filament to stick to, and then I tried using the filament and the 3D pen tool on the egg. The glue let the filament stick just fine, and the egg looked wonderful. My artistic skills were showing through, no doubt. Swapping filaments in the 3dsimo is easy. You use the reverse button to back out the filament, and once it's past the gear, you pull it out. And then all you need to do is put more filament in the end, hit the advance button until it comes out the nozzle the color you want, and you're good to go. The 3dsimo also proved incredibly easy for a child to use. 2 of my 3 kids decided to also 3D print on their eggs, and all it took was a 10-second lesson to get them going. I think one mark of a good product is how easy it is for someone to pick up and use. And with the 3dsimo and my kids, it was incredibly easy for them to pick it up and just use right away. I would say from taking the 3dsimo right out of the box and straight to the kitchen to color Easter eggs was a decent test, and it passed the test with flying colors. Plus, just look at these eggs. Are these not the cutest eggs you've ever seen? I thought so. Hey, that was fun. As you saw, the kids and I used the 3dsimo to draw on our Easter eggs. And, well, it turned out good. And the secret to getting the filament to stick to the egg, well, there's 2 or 3 secrets. Actually, one, PVA glue, or the Elmer's glue, the purple glue stick, if you can find purple. This is not purple glue stick, but it still works just fine. And then the other thing you need to do is hold the tip flat against the egg in order for the filament to spread out and actually adhere to the egg where you put the glue. You can angle it just a little bit if you already have filament down, but in order to get the stick, you have to have it flat against the egg. So if the pen's over here, it needs to be like that. Now, you know, it works. And it's really cool. The kids took to this so easy. I just handed it to them and I said, hit this button. And then they drew on their eggs. That's all it was. And it looks like this battery connects up via magnets, which is just crazy. And then it's able to power the 3dsimo for 60 to 120 minutes. In this example, all we did was use the 3D pen tool for the 3dsimo, and we drew on our Easter eggs. There's still these other tools, right? It can still foam cut and solder and burn. And all of these tools will do that, or all these tools right here. I'm looking forward to trying that. That should be fun, but initially, the 3dsimo is a fantastic tool. Thank you, David from 3dsimo, for sending this out. I will, of course, be using the other tools. Try it out. I will get a full review of this going. And don't forget, look at this. Let your imagination run wild. I can't wait to dig into this book. This is going to be a really cool book. And I think that's been my problem with 3D pens right now, is you get a 3D pen and you're freeform. You're just kind of drawing what comes to your mind, and not a lot of stuff comes to my mind. So it makes sense to jumpstart the imagination a little bit, and I think that's where a book like this is going to be handy. And the tool itself, what I found really interesting about this, I've used other 3D pens, but the 3D pen tool on the 3dsimo performs a slight retraction every time you take your finger off the button, which reduces the ooze and it reduces the stringiness that leaves behind. I don't know, this was just cool. This was a cool 3D pen, and 3D pen is just one of the 4 things that it does. And just to be clear, David from 3dsimo just sent me this to get my opinions on it and to produce some videos on whatever I think about it. I was not given any sort of monetary compensation in order to tell you anything specific about this whole setup. Everything I've told you so far is based on my own personal experience and my opinions of the 3dsimo, and of course, my experience using 3D pens in the past, and I am a horrible artist, and this actually gives me a chance, and I'm liking that a lot. All right, happy Easter to you and yours. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell. Thanks for my patrons who support me, and a big thanks to everybody who lets the ads play. Don't forget to hug each other more, because I love you guys. And as always, high five.